Hey guys, welcome back to the Bulwark. Sam Stein here with Marc Caputo. We have him for a precious few days left before he leaves us like a coward and a traitor.
Before I leave the slave plantation where you're constantly whipping stories.
Yeah, that's. I think. I don't think I would classify my editing as that. But teachers on
slave drama.
Mark's got a new piece up about the state of the Trump confirmation fights. Basically, the too long didn't read version is they feel pretty good about all of them after a tumultuous launch. Although I don't know, man. I think we should pick over a few of them because I'm starting to. You know what? I've always said I think they're all going to get confirmed, but whatever. Mark, tell us what the state of play is.
State of play is Joni Ernst, the Iowa senator, when she was sort of expressing doubts about Hegseth and looked like an impediment. MAGA world sprung into action.
Yeah.
Deluged her on social media, attacked her, said they were going to primary her. Her opposition started to thaw. At the same time, Tom Cotton, the Arkansas senator, the conference chair of the GOP, said, hey, look, Republicans should vote for and to confirm the Republican president's nominees.
Right.
Basically, period, full stop. And the combination of those two senators' experience really sent a message, not only to the rest of the conference, but to Trump's transition team, which is they start to feel really good about this. As I said in my piece, either get on the Trump train or get tied to the tracks.
Right. So let's talk about Hegseth specifically because he's got the most attention on him right now. And obviously that's for both his reported alcoholism or drinking issues and obviously the issues around whether or not he committed sexual assault. He's denied it. Ernst hasn't said she's going to vote for him. She just said she's going to support him through the process.
Okay.
Is there a distinction?
Well, there is in that there's certainly different words, but I mean, what does support through the process mean? Like she's going to, actually, I was about to use a reference which could be misconstrued. I mean, is she going to I don't know, what does that mean? Support through the process? She going to push him around the building or something? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What does that mean? And there is a question among Republicans in the Capitol about whether she wants to run for re-election, because a lot of them were so baffled by the idea that she sort of quasi came out in opposition to him or semi-opposition or whatever the word would be, that they thought it was sort of political suicide.
Are you getting the sense that a lot of this is just that if a nominee is going to get taken down, it will have to happen before a vote. No one is going to, no one will put their neck out there because if you do it, you get a target right on your back.
Correct. And that was the piece that we ran before about Hegseth, which was the Trump team's idea is get everyone to a vote. If it gets to a vote, the chances of them being voted down is low. And now it's hey, let's have everyone come together like Voltron. Thank you, Sam, for keeping that.
I let that one slide.
Voltron's important to me, but having everyone sort of as a package to say this is Trump's team. It's not that you could pick off one or two. This is the team.
All right, let's go through the rest of them then. Tulsi. I mean, it's that's the worst timing possible, I feel of the crew. You have Bashar al-Assad deposed, running to Russia, and then you have Tulsi, who's got this kind of well-known history of being, apologetic towards Assad and friendly towards him and, apologetic towards Russia. It's not the best timing in terms of world affairs.
Suboptimal.
And yet you have people like Cotton, you have people like Lindsey Graham who clearly are in different foreign policy camps than Tulsi saying, you know what, it's the president who sets the foreign policy and therefore they're fine with her.
And that's what she said as well when she came out. She said, everything that Donald Trump said today about Assad and Syria, I'm 100% in lockstep with. And that's the message.
So doesn't that kind of raise the question, do any of these people matter? If they that's a great question. If they have records that they just are going to say, I expunged that record because I'm not, who cares? Don't pay attention to that. I serve Trump. What's the point of a record?
Well, Donald Trump didn't pick Tulsi Gabbard because she said stupid things about Assad or sort of, explained.
No, but I would argue that she was closer in a way, philosophically, to where he's on foreign policy than a lot of the hawks are. right?
Yes, and that's where I was going. Is the reason he's chosen her is that she is critical of foreign wars in general. She's generally speaking, a non-interventionist. I'm not pretending that Donald Trump was some pacifist dove, by the way, to be very clear. And then in addition to that, he wants big personalities and people with big social media followings to be at all of these agencies because he likes it. And he wants hellraisers who are going to, lift up rocks and look under them or overturn apple carts. And she's one of them. So that's why she's picked.
So she's the next one who was on my bingo card of people who might be in trouble. But then you and I were slacking last night. And then you got RFK Jr., who, there's a story out that there's 3 senators who are non-committal: Bill Cassidy.
I can't see Cassidy voting against him, man. I can't see Cassidy voting against him.
I can't see any of these other than the usual suspects. But let's say in theory, 3's not enough anyway. Yeah, 3's not enough anyway. 2 certainly not enough. But RFK Jr., you look at his record, and then you have like a number of factors that could come and play. One is that he's got this history of being for abortion rights. Second is he's a quack on vaccines. No offense, in case I know, Mark, you're
no offense to quacks.
No offense to quacks or people who are skeptical of vaccines. And then the third is, he's, I don't know. There is an element of him where it's like, do you trust this man to run this bureaucracy? And I don't know if they care about any of that. Now, the other kind of weird card here is that Bernie Sanders has spoken somewhat approvingly of RFK Jr. I don't know if there's a chance to pluck off his vote, but what's your sense of the politics in the vote count on that one?
To reverse, I reached out to Sanders people about Tulsi Gabbard, who endorsed him for president.
Yes, so that's the other thing. Yeah.
But one of the things I regret leaving out of the piece, which I probably shouldn't tell you that we ran, was one of the Republican Senate advisors. I just remember he told me, and I just forgot to kind of type it in my notes and then copy and paste it and put it in the story. He was like, look, I don't know about RFK. He's got a lot of enemies. The pharmaceutical companies hate him. Although
he sat down notably with executives of Pfizer, he and Donald Trump and the executives in a little bit of a tete-a-tete, but we'll see.
Got that going for him. Yeah, but still, they still don't like him. No. A lot of moderates think he is, to use a scientific term used there, a quack. The abortion rights community, better said, the abortion rights opponents are not big fans. So he doesn't have like sort of a natural political base in Washington. And that's going to be of concern. But as we had discussed previously, as we had reported previously, there are 2 of these nominees that Donald Trump, from what we are told from those who know him and have talked to him, is willing to go to war for. And that's Tulsi Gabbard and that's Bobby Kennedy Jr., because they are part of his coalition. On Saturday, the Bulwark is going to be posting my discussion with Sarah Longwell about her focus groups, where it was Biden-Trump voters, people who voted for Biden and voted for Trump, Biden 2020, Trump 2024. And what's really interesting there is how many people were attracted to Donald Trump because of Bobby Kennedy Jr. And a friend of mine whose wife is in alternative medicine and the like says like all the yoga people love Bobby Kennedy.
Yes.
So
okay. So this brings up a great. We did a story. We sent Joe Perticone to one of the Bobby Kennedy events out in Pennsylvania during the campaign for Trump, and he came away. He was like, "It is the weirdest grouping of people." Yeah. It's a bunch of granola eating tree huggers who love yoga and are mystics, and they will absolutely put nothing but organic stuff in their bodies, and they think Monsanto is the devil. And then
then they'll do ketamine, right?
Yeah, and then there's these like huge steroided bodybuilder types who are like, clearly the like alpha male Republicans, but they kind of love Bobby too. And it's just like it's like this odd coalition that came together, and I think Trump saw it too. Obviously, he saw it and he cares about this stuff.
Trump's instincts are always like Trump's instincts are very good with stuff like that.
Yes.
And
all right.
The big attractive thing for Donald Trump was just the name Kennedy. One of the reasons he thought of him as a possible running mate is he loved the idea of a bumper sticker that said Trump Kennedy. He loved it.
Old school. He knows that stuff. All right. I guess we want to close on this. I'm not even going to touch Kash Patel because I just assume Kash will get confirmed. In the aftermath of Gates withdrawing, there was sort of a specter.
Redefine. I was going to say, let's make a joke about it.
There was the specter of.
Sorry.
There was the specter. Like, don't want to go there. There was the specter of let me finish. There was a specter of this idea that, maybe maybe this is the start of some sort of Senate Republican grouping showing that they're not going to get pushed around. I never really thought that. I thought Gates was kind of a unique case because he just pissed off everybody. And it certainly seems like but it does seem, and this is where I want to get your insight. It does seem like the Trump people, or at least the people who support Trump on the internet, recognize that they had to make a show of force and ensure that people recognize there would be a cost if you didn't get on his agenda and vote for his people. Can you talk about how organic that is and how powerful that is within Republican politics right now?
Well, increasingly social media and Twitter really matter to all of these politicians. And
especially I feel like to the Trump people, because it is Elon's thing. It is the voice of Elon, and Elon has the money.
And they are there. Rick Scott, the Florida senator that we quoted in the story, had said, look, the grassroots is out there and they're paying attention. Right. And you saw that with Ernst right when she started to pipe up, like they got mad. And the Trump team says, we didn't start it. Now they helped harness it, but they were just kind of capturing that lightning in a bottle that was sort of already there. So that's one thing, is that makes a difference. And as one of the Senate aides in the story had said is, look, my boss is very popular in this state, but if he goes against Donald Trump, he's going to lose, handily. That matters. Right. That's one thing. The other thing is, for the Trump people, for the Trump transition team, they don't want the Senate Republicans to develop some sort of, pain in the ass, independent streak, muscle memory, where they start rejecting his appointments. They are impressing upon them, and Rick Scott is part of the point of the spear, that Donald Trump won a majority of the vote for the first time for Republicans in 2004. He did very well in the Electoral College. Republicans control both chambers of Congress. This is your duty. Do it. Step up or get stepped upon.
Yeah, and I'll just say it's notable and I think important that three critical senators here. I mean, put aside Murkowski and Collins. Let's just assume they're lost causes for Trump on a lot of these things. But three critical senators here: John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, Joni Ernst, all up for re-election, all from states. Maybe Tillis is the one exception, that are ostensibly Republicans. So they care about being primaried. Like that's what they need to avoid. And so,
Tillis is still from North Carolina. Yeah. And that is still a southeastern state. Right. And if he loses the Republican primary there, he obviously doesn't go onto the show. So that's a real risk of crossing Trump.
Right. Exactly. All right, Mark, we'll get a few more of these YouTubes in before you depart us ungloriously, but it is what it is. Love you, buddy. Thanks for the report.
Love you,
as always, guys, subscribe to the feed. We need the subscriptions and we will be in touch. Take care.
See you.